I thank God I was fortunate enough to find out early that the past does not determine the present and that the present does not determine the future. I discovered this by an accident at an early age. And because I discovered this at a very young age, I was able to elevate my life very quickly beyond my peers. Before I turned 22 years old, I was making six figures a year. But a previous year before that, I was facing forever incarcerated. I was facing forever in jail. The year right before that. First things first is, I'm a realist. And today I want to talk to you about the past, the present, and the future. Because I know that if you were taught to think about the past, the present, and future, just like I was taught to think about it, then you were probably taught to think about it in the wrong way. And almost everybody is taught to think about the past, the present, and future in a wrong way. And it could be the main reason why you're not finding success in anything you do or any area in your life. It could be the main reason why you're not finding success in your finances, in your relationships, in your business, in your personal growth, in your health. It could be the main reason why you're not finding success in anything you do. I know it was one of the main reasons I wasn't finding success in my own life. And most of us were taught to think about the past, present, and future in a way that has worked against our life instead of for our life. We were taught to think about the past, present, and future in a way that does not serve us in a beneficial way. Most of us was taught to think that the past determines the present and that the present determines the future. Almost like a domino effect, with the past being the main domino that caused the rest of the effect. And when you're taught that the past determines the present and that the present determines the future, that means that everything that happens in your past affects your present and your future. So when that domino tips in a negative way, does that mean you're going to have a negative future? A negative present? And that negative present is going to create a negative future? What does that mean? Right? Thinking this way keeps the past in the driver's seat. And when the past is in the driver's seat, you can never escape from it. And when you can never escape from the past, then you don't get to experience the present or the future. Because you can't escape the past. And listen to me. And when you can't escape the past, you live it over and over each day, each week, each month, and each year. Whether you live it over in a different place or with a different face, you're trapped in the past. And some people never, ever get out of this loop. And if you feel like your past has been holding you back, then this video is for you. I thank God I was fortunate enough to find out early that the past does not determine the present and that the present does not determine the future. I discovered this by an accident at an early age. And because I discovered this at a very young age, I was able to elevate my life very quickly beyond my peers. Before I turned 22 years old, I was making six figures a year. But a previous year before that, I was facing forever incarcerated. I was facing forever in jail. The year right before that, I didn't come from a rich family or a middle class family. We were poor. Most of the time, my mother had to go to churches and get government boxes just to feed us. So, like, I didn't come from a wealthy background. I came from literally the dirt, they call it. And my past is one of poverty. So if the past had determined my present, then I would not be where I am today. And the difference between me and most people is that I just learned to see things different when it comes to the past. And because I was able to use my past as an asset, it helped me crush level after level after level. And also I learned to use my future as a tool. It took me to heights me and my family couldn't even believe. And I've taught countless of others to do the same. And I have watched their life 10x. And in this video, I'm going to help you do the same. Joel Osteen, one of the famous pastors, he said, your past does not determine who you are. Your past prepares you for who you are to become. Let me say it again. Your past does not determine who you are. It's literally not a domino effect. I'm going to explain to you. It's the exact opposite. Actually, your past does not determine who you are. Your past prepares you for who you are to become. Okay, Donnie. So how should I think about the past, present, and future in a way that'll benefit my life? Well, I'm glad you asked. Instead of thinking that the past affects the present and that the present affects the future, why don't you think about it in a reverse way? What if the future actually affects the present and the present actually affects the past? Have you ever thought about that? Let me tell you, that's the most truth. Just think about it. How did God call everything else into existence? It didn't exist at first. He thought about it. He thought about something that didn't exist. So if it didn't exist and some things don't exist currently in your life, so then it becomes a part of your future. So he brought the future into existence and the future determined the present moments. And the present moments determines the past moments. Kind of funny to think about, right? But your past does not determine your present. I'm sorry to say it. I know you were taught to think that your past determines your present, but it doesn't. No, the way that you presently think about the past determines its meaning in your life. What do you mean? This is what I mean. How you think about the past right now, at this very moment, how you think about it right now is what determines its meaning. Nothing else. It's not the event or the thing that happened to you. It's not the turmoil that you went through. It's not the trouble that you went through. I'm not discounting any of that. I'm not discounting that you didn't go through the hurt. I'm not discounting that you didn't go through the pain. So there's some pain of people watching this video that I couldn't even imagine right now. But what I'm saying to you is that that event doesn't determine your present. How it's literally how you currently think about that moment in this moment is what determines the meaning of the past. If you think about the past right now and how it affected your life in a negative way, then it's currently affecting your life in a present way because you are giving the past a negative meaning. And if you're giving the past a negative meaning, then it's going to have a negative effect in your life right now, presently. I think it was this one quote I heard by this guy named Henry Wright. He said, those who are solely governed by the past stands like Lot's wife. And if you don't know who Lot's wife is, Go read your Bible. But he said, those who are solely governed by the past stands like Lot's wife, crystallized in the act of looking backwards and forever incapable of looking forward. Just think about this for a second. Lot's life was crystallized, forever looking backwards, forever looking at the past in a negative light. And then she was crystallized in that moment, never ever being able to look forward again. If you think that your past was somehow designed to hurt you, to destroy you, or to affect your life in a negative way, if you think your past was somehow designed to make you feel abandoned, lonely, not good enough, inadequate, not smart enough, not skillful enough, not worthy, then if you think your past was somehow designed to make you feel these things, or to make you feel like you don't hold up to anything, then this is affecting you right now in this present moment, whether you know it or not. It's affecting you. Well, let me just say it to you like this. When we think we have been hurt by someone in our past, no matter what they did or how they caused the hurt, but when we think we have been hurt by someone in the past, we build up defenses. We build up walls. We build up gates. We build up doors to protect ourselves from being hurt in the future. And this becomes like a coping mechanism so that other people can't hurt you in the future. But it was actually only that one person that hurt you in the future, but somehow you're putting it on everyone. And so now everyone has to prowl down your wall. Everyone has to try to conquer your wall because of the hurt that this one person brought you. But you continue to think about the past, that past moment that past person brought you. And you got these walls based upon those feelings. And those feelings are not serving you in any way because it was that person that did you that way. It was that person that did you wrong. It was that person that hurt you, that betrayed you, that cheated on you, that robbed you. It was that person that lied to you. Not everyone. Not everyone. You don't lose trust with everyone else just because one person did something wrong to you. Let me just say this. There's bad people in the world. There's bad people in the world. Just like there are good people in the world. As a matter of fact, there could be no good people if bad people didn't exist. So there's got to be bad people too. One hurt you. Get over it. Well, easy for you to say, Donnie. No, see, what I know is that you're literally holding on or crystallizing a moment, one moment in your life, and you're holding on to the hurt of that moment and you're punishing everybody else for it. I mean, it's literally what happens. So now your defense mechanisms controls your future. And your future, remember, shapes your past. Shapes your present. Your future shapes your present. The present does not shape the future. How you think about the future shapes the present. But we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But when you when you have such a fearful past, it causes a fearful future. And the past and the future becomes one because you're living from the future to create the present, which creates the past. And if you continue to believe that somehow your past is affecting you right now, then you're never going to get ahead in life because you have put the past in the driver's seat. And when you put the past in the driver's seat, you're a passenger in your own life. Let me say it again. When you put the past in the driver's seat, you're not living in the present. No, you are a passenger in your own life caught up in the past. Because if you allow the past to control the present, then you are living in the past over and over and over again in the present. Meaning you cannot build a future because you are too busy focused on reconstructing the past. See, when you're living life with the past in control and you're the passenger in your own life, then how can you literally, the past is always building or reconstructing the moment of hurt or trying to defend itself from the moment of hurt. And you wonder why you can never get ahead. You wonder why you got emotional problems. You wondering why you can't trust anybody. You wondering why you can never make friends. You're wondering why you destroy every relationship that you get into. It's because you're judging yourself from something that happened in the past. Listen to me. It happened. It happened. Yes, it happened. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, he hurt you. Yes, she hurt you. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, they betrayed you. Yes, they destroyed your trust. Yes, they played you. Yes, that thing happened in your life when you were young. It happened. Yes, it happened. The actual moment it happened. With an E-D. It happened. Meaning it's already an end to it. You cannot change it. You can't change what they did to you. You can't go back and try to rewrite the program or rewrite the event. You can't go back and change your own actions. Just like trying to catch words after they leave your mouth. Like, you know how people saying you don't say things you regret, and sometimes people say things that regret and they think they want to go and try to catch the words. But once you say the words, it's gone. It happened. Right now becomes then. As soon as I say then, as soon as I say now, it becomes then. So what I'm saying to you is, it happened. And it was and it was one moment, maybe two out of thousands of moments in your life. Yes, we go through things. Yes, we go through turmoil. Yes, we go through struggles. Yes, we go through the bad things that has happened to us in life. But if we think about all of our life right now, those bad things didn't happen all our life. I mean, the whole entire time. No, there were moments, terrible moments that you had to live through. Terrible moments that you had to go through. A terrible moment you had to go through. A terrible moment. Yes, it was. But it was a moment. And that moment is now gone. And guess what? You still can't change that moment. And if you cannot change that moment, then why are you allowing it to still affect your life? And see, and when you apply that moment that happened to you to your present moments, then you're no longer living from a present moment, but from a past moment. Let me say it again. When you allow what happened to you and that moment that it happened to you to somehow still believe that that moment affects your present moment, you are no longer living from a present moment, but from a past moment. Let me say it again. Let me say it one more again, the third time. When you allow what happened to you a long time ago, a year ago, it don't matter if it was a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, a couple weeks ago, a decade ago, when you allow that moment to affect you in your right now present moment, then you are not living in a present moment. You're living in a past moment because you continue to allow the past to affect your current moment. You are presently living. When you continue to allow the past to affect you, you are presently living as if it's happening. Let me say it again. When you allow the past to continue to affect your right now, your present, you're living life right now like it's still happening to you when it happened years ago, when it happened weeks ago, when it happened decades ago. You are still allowing it to affect you right now like it's currently happening when it actually happened. It's gone and over, but you're still living life like it's happening to you right now in this present moment when it happened a decade ago, a couple years ago, a couple weeks ago, I don't know. But it happened and it's not happening. So you got to learn to let it go. But instead, you must learn to let the present determine the meaning of the past. Yeah, you went through hurt. Yeah, it hurt like hell. Yeah, you faced some terrible stuff, probably stuff I couldn't even begin to even imagine. But guess what? It didn't kill you. You didn't lose your mind. You still made it. You're still here. You still got it. So instead of letting that moment continue to consume your life in a negative way, you must change your mind to think about it in a positive way. Because as long as you continue to think about it, your past, in a negative way, it's going to continue to have a negative effect on your life. Even though it happened and it's no longer happening. You got to start thinking about the past in a positive way. Because when you start thinking about the past in a positive way, then you start to understand that the things that you actually went through made you better. Then the things that you actually went through strengthen you for what you had to go through more in life. When you start to use your past and you think about it like if I didn't go through this, then I wouldn't be able to get here. If I didn't go through this, then I wouldn't have got there. If I didn't go through this, then I wouldn't be the strong man I am today or the strong woman I am now. If I didn't go through this, like, we go through things for a reason. The scriptures tells us that God does not tempt us beyond what we can withstand. So if you allow the problem or the turmoil or the trials or the tribulations or the trouble to show up in your life, that's because you can get through it. And it's there to strengthen or develop you. Listen to me. You do not develop being comfortable. You don't grow being comfortable. You cannot grow being the same. And your comfort zone is you remaining the same. Because if your comfort zone wasn't you remaining the same, then you would be doing something different, but you're comfortable being who you are right now. But you see a future self that you want to be. But in order to get the future self, you can't get it being who you are right now. See, what got you here won't get you there. You cannot be comfortable if you plan to grow. Because growth stretches you, growth pulls you, growth tugs you, growth gives you force back. But at the end of the day, it's making you better. And everything you went through in your past has made you better. I remember the first time I lost $25,000 in a day. And I almost framed that event in a very negative way when it came to investing in the stock market. And it wasn't necessarily money. It was the fact that I had turned $576 into $25,000, showing it in real time on social media as I was doing my trading, turning $576 into $25,000 in a period of about 4 months. And that 4 months was grind, stress, and struggle, highs, lows, ups and downs. It was a lot. But I was learning. I was learning to become a better investor. I was learning to better understand the stock market. I was growing. And I thought, like, dang, I done grew up here. Like, my growth levels, boom, I'm up here with it. And then one day, since I thought I was the GOAT, I jumped into Amazon. In a matter of minutes, I lost 25. It was like 24,700 and some dollars. So I'm sorry, I actually know the exact number. $24,798. So I just say 25,000 in one day. In one day. I was sick to my stomach. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was sick to my stomach. That's the most money I had ever lost in a day. It was a while back, but that's the most money I had ever lost in one day, and it made me so sick to my stomach. And I began to think, man, I'm not good enough for this. Man, I thought I had it. I thought I got the hang of it. But I did get the hang of it. Because my friend came along, and one of my friends said to me, Donnie, didn't you turn $576 into $25,000? I was like, yeah. And he was like, all of a sudden you think you don't know what you're doing now because one moment happened out of a thousand more that's probably going to happen out of all the moments that already happened. In other words, he was saying to me, Donnie, you took $576 and turned it into $25,000. It wasn't that you didn't know what you was doing. You just learned. Unfortunately for you, you just learned a very expensive lesson. And when he said that to me, my mind began to immediately reframe everything. Because I was thinking about it in a negative way. And and once he said to me, it's just like something just clicked. And I began to reframe all that I was thinking. And because I began to reframe that, I wanted to go back and see what I did wrong. How did I cause myself to lose $24,798 like that? What did I do wrong? And so I went back and I figured out everything I did wrong. I analyzed everything I did wrong. And I said, because of that lesson, and because of him saying it to me, and which allowed me to think about it in a different way, and then I went back to learn what I did wrong, I actually became 10 times better because of that lesson. Yeah, I was sick to my stomach for a couple of days. But if I had to change it and go back, I would not. Because it was that moment that helped me become even better. And what I'm saying to you, the moments that you went through that were terrible, it wasn't a lot of them. But the ones that you did go through, they hurt a lot. And because they hurt a lot, it may seem like you always go through trouble, or you're always in some type of turmoil, or you always going through some type of hell. But it's not. These are moments in your life compared to the thousands of moments you live out every single day. You got to begin to rethink the past in a way that benefits you. What you have been through has made you better. It has. It has. It has. I think it was Charles Swindoll that said, life is 10% of what happens to you, but 90% how we react to it. Things happen in our life that we don't like about 10% of the time. But how we react to it, how we choose to think about it, is what affects our life 90% of the time.